Ask when to visit Patagonia and you're already asking the wrong question, because the honest first answer is that for most of the year, you can't. This is what separates Patagonia from almost every other destination on Earth. In most places, best time to visit is a question of optimization. When is it prettiest, cheapest, least crowded, warmest? The seasons are a matter of degree, and there's no truly wrong time to go, only better and worse ones. Patagonia doesn't work like that. Sitting at the far southern tip of South America, closer to Antarctica than to most of the continent, it has a usable window so narrow that stepping outside it doesn't mean a worse trip. It means roads closed, trails shut, refuges boarded up, boat crossings suspended, transport stopped, and entire towns essentially hibernating until the next summer. The question isn't really when Patagonia is best. It's how to get the timing right inside the one short window that exists at all, because the margin for error is smaller here than almost anywhere else you could travel. And the cruel twist, the thing that catches out even people who correctly aim for that window, is that the most obvious moment to go is also, in a specific and important sense, the worst. Let's build this properly, starting with the window itself. Patagonia's seasons are flipped from the Northern Hemisphere, which is the first thing to internalize. The austral summer runs from roughly December through February, spring is October and November, autumn is March and April, and winter, June through August, is the deep off-season. The broad usable window for most travelers is November through March, with the shoulders of late October and early April hanging on at the edges, depending on the year and the specific region. Outside that window, you are not looking at a quieter version of the same trip. You are looking at a region that has largely closed for business. In winter, this is dramatic. Much of the famous hiking infrastructure shuts down entirely. In Torres del Paine, the Chilean crown jewel, the refuges and campsites along the multi-day circuits close. The famous treks become inaccessible or require winter mountaineering experience, and the public transport connections thin out or stop. Roads in the more remote areas can become impassable. The days shrink to a handful of cold daylight hours. Some operators and lodges close completely from around April to September. This isn't a reason winter is impossible. There's a small, growing niche of winter Patagonia travel for people who want snow-covered solitude and don't need the trekking, but for the overwhelming majority of visitors, going outside the November to March window means arriving to find the thing they came for is locked. So the window is set, November through March broadly. Now the real question begins, because that window is not uniform, and the instinct most people follow leads them straight to its worst moment. The peak of summer, December, January, February, is when nearly everyone goes, and it's easy to see why. School holidays, the warmest temperatures, the longest days, the highest probability that everything is open. It looks, on paper, like the obvious answer. And it comes with two problems that the paper doesn't show, and both are severe. The first is the wind. This needs to be understood clearly, because nothing in most people's experience prepares them for it. Patagonian wind is not weather. It's a defining physical force of the place, and it has its own calendar inside the season. The peak summer months are also the peak of the wind, with gusts that regularly exceed 100 kilometers an hour and can, with no exaggeration, knock an adult off their feet. It can make trekking genuinely miserable, turning a beautiful trail into a battle. It can close the boat crossings that link parts of the famous circuits, stranding hikers or forcing detours. It can cancel flights. It blows the spray off lakes horizontally and sandblasts viewpoints. People arrive in January imagining gentle summer hiking and find themselves leaning at 45 degrees into a wall of air, unable to hear the person next to them. The wind is at its most ferocious in December and January precisely, when the crowds are at their thickest. Which is the second problem. Peak summer is also peak crowd, and in a region with limited infrastructure, that bites hard. The campsites and refuges in Torres del Paine book out months in advance, sometimes the better part of a year, for the December to February stretch. Accommodation in the gateway towns like El Calafate, El Chaltén, and Puerto Natales fills, and prices climb. The most famous viewpoints have queues. For a place whose entire appeal is wild, empty, end-of-the-world grandeur, Arriving to find it crowded and book everything ahead is its own particular disappointment, and it's the direct consequence of going when everyone else goes. This is where the shoulders come in and where the people who understand Patagonia tend to aim. November, late spring, is one of the best-kept secrets of Patagonian timing. The infrastructure is open or opening, the wildflowers are out, the landscape is fresh and green, the crowds are a fraction of the summer peak, and crucially, the wind, while always present, has not yet reached its summer maximum. The trade-off is that the weather is less stable and the days, while long, aren't yet at their longest. But for a traveler who values fewer people and a more manageable wind over guaranteed warmth, November is frequently a better experience than January. March and into early April, autumn, is the other shoulder, and for many it's the single best time of all. The summer crowds have gone home. The wind begins to ease from its peak, and the southern beech forests, the lenga, turn brilliant red and gold across the mountainsides, giving the landscape a color it simply doesn't have in summer. The trade-off again is shortening days and a rising chance of the first cold and unstable weather as the season tips toward winter, and by mid to late April things start closing. But late March in Patagonia, with autumn color on the peaks and the wind dialed back and the trails quiet, is the version of the place that the people who keep returning tend to chase. Now, an essential caveat that applies to all of this and that no honest guide can skip. In Patagonia, the daily weather overrides the seasonal average to a degree found almost nowhere else. The local saying is that Patagonia gives you 4 seasons in a single day, and it is not folklore, it's a planning reality. You can leave in still morning sunshine, be hit by horizontal rain by mid-morning, face brutal wind by midday, and end in calm golden light at dusk, in any month of the season. This means 2 things. First, no month guarantees the conditions you want. You are playing probabilities, not certainties, and you must pack and plan for all 4 seasons regardless of when you go. Proper layers, real wind and rain protection, warm clothing even in January. Second, it makes flexibility worth more here than almost anywhere. An itinerary with buffer days, with the ability to wait out a bad weather window and seize a good one, to do the famous viewpoint hike on the clear morning rather than the booked-in day, is an itinerary that works with Patagonia instead of against it. The travelers who insist on a rigid day-by-day plan are the ones most often defeated by a region that refuses to cooperate on schedule. It's also worth noting briefly that Patagonia spans 2 countries and an enormous range, and the timing isn't perfectly uniform across it. The broad season holds throughout, but the Argentine side around El Chaltén and El Calafate, the Chilean side at Torres del Paine, the Lake District further north, and the far south toward Ushuaia each have their own microclimates and slightly different rhythms. The Perito Moreno Glacier near El Calafate is accessible year-round and is one of the few headline sites that doesn't shut in winter. Ushuaia, at the very bottom, is also the jumping-off point for Antarctic cruises, which run in the austral summer and add another reason the November to March window is the busy one. The general principles hold across all of it, but the deeper you plan, the more the specific region's quirks deserve checking. So when should you actually go? If your absolute priority is the warmest weather and the certainty that everything is open and you're willing to accept the strongest wind, the biggest crowds, and the need to book far ahead, then December through February is the answer. Just go in with your eyes open about the wind and your reservations made early. If you want the best balance most travelers don't know to look for, open infrastructure, thinner crowds, gentler wind, and either spring freshness or autumn color, then aim for November or March, with late March being the connoisseur's choice for the fall foliage and the quiet. If you're a specialist after winter solitude and snow and you have the experience and the lowered expectations to match, the deep off-season exists, but it's a different and much more limited trip. What you should not do is treat Patagonia like a normal destination where any reasonable time will roughly work. It won't. The window is real, it's narrow, and the best moment inside it is not the obvious one. More than almost anywhere on Earth, the difference between a transcendent Patagonia trip and a cold, wind-battered, overcrowded, partly closed one comes down to getting the timing right. Not just landing inside the season, but choosing the right edge of it, and arriving flexible enough to let a place this wild set the terms. Patagonia rewards the traveler who respects how little control they have here. Get the window right, lean toward the shoulders, pack for everything, build in the time to wait out the weather. And the reward is one of the last genuinely wild grand landscapes left on the planet. Get it wrong, and you'll have spent a great deal of money and a very long flight to lean into the wind and look at a view through the rain. The margin between those two trips is thinner in Patagonia than anywhere else. The whole art is knowing it's there. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, smash that like button and subscribe to When to Travel. We're all about helping you make smarter travel decisions. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And hey, if you think your friends need this, share it. Comment below with your next destination or your biggest travel question. I'm reading all of them. Let's go.